Module 2. Setting up MetaTrader 5 and Basic MQL5 Concepts. Hello and welcome back to this course on MQL5 EA development. In this module, we'll cover two important topics: setting up MetaTrader 5 and introducing Basic MQL5 Concepts. First, let's get started with setting up MetaTrader 5. To develop and test your EAs, you'll need to have MetaTrader 5 installed on your computer. If you haven't already, please download and install MetaTrader 5 from the official MetaQuotes website. You can find the link to download MetaTrader 5 in the description of this video. Once you've installed MetaTrader 5, open the platform and familiarize yourself with the interface. To access the MQL5 editor, select the Tools tab, then click on MetaQuotes Language Editor, or simply use the shortcut F4. Now let's create a new file. Go to the File tab, select New, or use the shortcut Ctrl+N. Next, select the Expert Advisor template. This is where we'll build and code our expert advisors. Create a name for your expert advisor. For demonstration purposes, I'll name mine trading_bot. Then select Next, Next again, and finally, Finish. Now, as you can see, we have three main functions. But for now, we'll focus on one function, which is the onTick_off function. So delete everything else and leave only the onTick function. The onTick function is a special function in MQL5 that is called every time a new tick or price update is received. This function is where we'll put the code that will execute our trading strategy. Now let's move on to some basic MQL5 concepts. MQL5 is a programming language that's specifically designed for developing trading strategies. Here are basic concepts we'll cover. Variables. In MQL5, variables are used to store and manipulate data. You can think of variables as containers that hold values. Data types. MQL5 has several data types, including integers, doubles, strings, Boolean, and more. Each data type has its own set of characteristics and uses. Operators. Operators are symbols used to perform operations on variables and values. For example, the addition operator plus is used to add two numbers together. Control structures. Control structures, such as if-else statements and loops, are used to control the flow of your program. These concepts will form the foundation of your MQL5 programming skills. Now that we've explained the basic concepts, let's dive deeper into each one, starting with variables. In MQL5, variables are used to store and manipulate data. You can think of variables as containers that hold values. To declare a variable in MQL5, you need to specify the variable type and name. For example, let's declare two variables, take profit level and stop loss level, both of type integer. This declares two variables that can hold integer values. Next, we can assign values to our variables using the assignment operator. Equals. For example, take profit level equals 1,000. Stop loss level equals 500. This assigns the value 1,000 to our variable take profit level, which represents 1,000 pips, and the value 500 to our variable stop loss level, which represents 500 pips. Now let's use the comment function to display the values of our variables. Comment. The take profit level is. The stop loss level is. When we run this code, it will print the values of our variables take profit level and stop loss level to the console. To run the code to the console, first select Compile and make sure there are no errors. Then go to the trading terminal. Plug the bot from the navigator section. Allow algo trading. As you can see, the take profit level and stop loss level have been displayed on the console. Notice I put a semicolon at the end of each line. This is because in programming languages like MQL5, semicolons terminate each statement, separating and defining individual lines of code. Think of it as a full stop ending a sentence. That's a basic example of how variables work in MQL5. Variables are a fundamental concept in programming, and you'll use them extensively in your MQL5 development. Next, we'll cover data types. Now that we've covered variables, let's talk about data types. Remember our variables take profit level and stop loss level that we declared as integers? In MQL5, int is short for integer, which means it can only store whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, and so on. This makes sense for our take profit and stop loss levels, since we're dealing with whole numbers of pips. But what if we wanted to store a decimal value, like 1.5 or 3.25? That's where the double data type comes in. Double is short for double precision floating point number, which means it can store decimal values with a high degree of precision. For example, we could declare a variable lot size as a double. This would allow us to store decimal values like 0.1 or 0.5 in our lot size variable. Now, what if we wanted a variable to store a word like buy now? How would we do that? That's where the string data type comes in. A string is a sequence of characters, like letters or numbers, that can be stored and manipulated in MQL5. For example, we could declare a variable trade signal as a string. This would allow us to store a word or phrase, like buy now or sell underscore now, in our trade signal variable. In MQL5, we put quotes around text to tell the computer that it's just words, not code. This helps the computer understand what's text and what's instructions. Finally, let's talk about the bool data type. Bool is short for Boolean, which means it can only store one of two values, true or false. For example, we could declare a variable isTradingEnabled as a bool. This would allow us to store a true or false value in our isTradingEnabled variable, which could be used to control whether our EA is allowed to trade or not. These data types, int, double, string, and bool, are the building blocks of our MQL5 programs. We'll see how they come together to build a complete EA in later modules. That's it for now. We'll continue exploring MQL5 basics in the next video. Please feel free to ask me any questions or clarification you may need.